Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Ask the Girl from Schenectady, and I'm your host, Aduayo Magic Kodumi, aka Ayo Magic, the girl from Schenectady. So I'm super excited to introduce my guest co-host today. You may recognize his face as one of the amazing men on my male panel. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Courtney Cortez. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So that clip we just saw was a clip from my one-woman show where the main character was openly displaying her sexuality. So today's topic, should us women have boundaries on how we display our sexuality? Well, I cannot wait to hear from my co-hosts on this topic, but first, let's hear what the male and female panel had to say about it.
Yes, I think it's fine.
Okay.
So like that, I mean, you're comfortable with your sexuality, doesn't mean you're a hoe.
So it's all up to you, like how sexual you want to be, like how comfortable you are with yourself. So I think it's totally up to you. Like when you're in a relationship with a man, obviously, there's certain things, that you're going to have to communicate to your partner. So it's just like, if we go into my office holiday party and I may say, hey, you know what, trying to dress in a more professional way, don't let it, you can't have half of your ass cheeks hanging out there because you're going to meet my coworkers and bosses.
Interesting. Okay. So, Courtney, do you feel us women should have boundaries on how we display our sexuality? And more importantly, how do you feel about dating a woman who is very comfortable with her sexuality?
This is a really good question. I feel that, just be who you are. Like, I can't tell a woman to not dress a certain way or to not display a certain behavior. I personally feel that sexuality, a woman just knowing her sexuality, a woman being comfortable in her sexuality, is very sexy. Now, I will say that, there is such thing as doing too much. And for me, I would just say, as long as that woman is comfortable, as long as that woman is okay with who she is and she can look herself in the mirror and not be ashamed by herself or of herself, then that's fine. I think that everyone has a different level of comfort when it comes to their sexuality. You have some women who may be at a level 10. Let's look at the people that we know, just to use an example. People in entertainment, celebrities, Meg Thee Stallion, Foxy Brown, Lil Kim, Trina. You have so many women that talk about sexuality, female sexuality. And to certain people, that's empowerment. To certain women, that's empowerment. It's expression. It's who they are. It's an art form. So I think for me, I can say, okay, that might be a little bit too much for me, and maybe she's not the woman for me. Maybe we're not compatible. I think that's fair enough to say. And I think it's also fair for another woman to look at a woman and say, hey, sis may be doing, as y'all say, sis might be doing a tad bit much. And that's fair also. But I don't think that it is fair for any of us to judge and say that she's doing too much, or even in particular as a Christian woman, that she should dress like this and look like this. Like, who are we to say that?
Yes.
And so, just going a step further when you talk about Christian women in particular makes me think of Megan.
Yes, I was about to ask you that.
Okay. And I'm jumping too far ahead.
You can keep going.
Okay.
You read my mind.
And so I love Megan.
Me too. So do I.
I had the chance to actually work with her a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
I got to know her, a little bit personally by working with her.
Okay.
And she's just a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Definitely.
soul. Free-spirited. She knows God. She has a relationship with God.
Yes.
And so I know just from working on that episode with her that a lot of things, because this was actually mentioned in the show, that a lot of the things that people have said about her, criticism, backlash, the judgment that she's received from the Christian community has hurt her a lot. And so, which leads to my next point. I think that, someone like her is strong enough to deal with that. But what about women out there in the public eye or not in the public eye? You have Christian women that's not in the public eye that may be very sensual and sexual and very comfortable with who they are.
Yeah.
That may feel like, hey, you coming at me with all of this judgment, thinking that just because I might dress this way that I'm easy or that I'm not a Christian or all this kind of other stuff, that can push that person away.
Exactly.
That can push people away that are not believers.
Exactly.
So I think that we have to be conscious of just what we're doing and what we're saying, and not to be hard on someone because you don't know who that person is. Like get to know that person.
Exactly.
Because while we're judging that person, or while other people are judging that person and saying, whatever it is that they're saying, God is saying we're good.
Exactly.
I'm good with that person.
Exactly.
Because God don't look at the things that we look at. God looks at the heart.
Yes.
God knows that this is the person that I created. His word says that I knew you before I was formed in your mother's womb. So, I would like to propose a question. What if that is a part of that person's purpose? What if that being comfortable with their sexuality is just their unique identity?
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. So good. Thank you, sir. There's a lot in there that you said. I totally agree with everything you said. And the bottom line is just not judging. We shouldn't be judging each other, and we should be loving each other. Because part of us being Christian is to love each other, and to welcome each other and to learn from each other, And I think that's the bottom line. Okay, well, I'm going to shift gears a little bit, sir.
All right, let's do it.
So we've been on the series called the Qualities in a Partner series, and we're wrapping it up. And I would like to ask you, as a lot of single women out there would like to know, like me, what qualities are you looking for in a partner, particularly, Christian, from a Christian man's perspective? What qualities do you think are great qualities in a partner?
Well, I think that, just going off of love. Love is so important.
Oh, yes.
And I see that the older that I'm getting.
Okay.
And not just loving me because I'm your partner, but just having a loving spirit. Like, I think that's so attractive to me.
That's awesome.
Just loving, having a heart of love for everyone. So qualities that I like is love, confidence, intelligence, hardworking, outgoing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stop there.
That's good. Well, you heard it. You heard it here first, ladies. Those are great qualities. Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So now, Courtney, do you happen to know what time it is? No?
I don't.
Actually, it is time for that question of the day.
You can.
I wanted to do that. So we have a good one today. So let's get right to it.
I'm ready.
So today's question of the day is, why are men intimidated by women who make more money than them? Well, what do you feel about this question, Courtney?
I feel like it's interesting It's not something that is spoken about a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that men are intimidated, and let me actually go back and say some men,
Okay.
because that's not all.
It's not all.
I don't
Right.
think that's fair to just
I agree.
classify all men or lump all men into that category. I'll say some men
Okay.
are intimidated because we're always taught to be providers. We're always taught to be the breadwinners,
Okay.
and we're taught to be the sole providers. So even if, what that means to me is, even if the wife or the woman is working, the man is supposed to make the most money.
Yeah.
And I think that especially when we look in the African American community, that means that's a bigger deal, because black men are always looked at as the last. Black men are always second guessed. People are always surprised to see black men doing it. So I think that it's this extra pressure and this really high standard for us to feel like, you know, we need to provide. You know, and not on some, you know, drug dealing or illegal type stuff. But, you know, I'm a brother that graduated from college. You know, I'm educated. You know I can do what I can do, so let me go out there and do it. And so I think that, again, it's just a lot of pressure on us to succeed and to make it. And it's this feeling of, you know, man, if I'm not bringing this home, maybe she's going to leave me.
Right.
You know, maybe she's going to go and find another brother that got more that, you know, can actually provide for her.
Right.
But I think like this, that any woman who's with a man who makes less than her, she has made that decision, you know, because she loves him.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, we as men, all of us have to, you know, be comfortable and secure in ourselves.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
really the key to that, is to just know who you are.
Absolutely.
To be comfortable and confident in your own skin. Get the healing that you need. You know, be single for a while.
Yeah.
You know, being single allows you to love you.
Yeah.
It allows you to accept you. It allows you to know you.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So I think that, you know, there's a lot of women out there that's okay with that. That's just saying, hey, listen, I love you. I understand that you may not be where you want to be, and I'm willing to support you.
I have a question really quick.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said that, because what I was thinking was, sometimes I've heard in some relationships that sometimes the women don't allow, because they're the breadwinner, they make more money than the men, they don't allow the men to be men. Does that make sense? Like, they sometimes kind of use it over a man, like, well, I'm the one who makes more money, so I'm making this decision. You know? Yeah, and I think that's kind of sort of what the problem is with that, is that just because a woman make more money, you know, doesn't mean you make the man feel less of a man. Like, you're still the man, you're still the head of the household, you're still going to make the head of the household decisions, you know? So, so that's kind of what came to my mind about that. I was going to say is that, you know, the man can be secure in himself, but it's still up to us women to allow that man to still be a man and not make him feel like he's worthless because he doesn't make as much money, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a different type of situation.
Yeah.
I think you have something else going on there, you know, and I think that I want to say this in a respectful way, but I think that we all have our own lane to be in, and I think that as a wife, you know, you should stay in your lane. As a husband, you should stay in your lane. You know, I don't think that there should be any lane crossings. You know, and I think, like you said, that a woman have to respect that man as a man, and that shouldn't come with a price. Like, that shouldn't come with a dollar sign behind it. And the same with the man. I mean, it's equal. You know, you expect her as your wife. You expect her as your support system. You are each other's support system. You are each other's helpmate. You know, so I think that's important to always lift that person up. Always push that person, because you can also have a situation where, and I see this a lot too, where you know, men are successful and they marry these women, or they marry women. I don't mean nothing about these women, but they marry women, and maybe the woman is not successful at first, and then the woman gets successful, and you know, she might start bringing in more money than him. You know, and then there's a situation with that. But it's just like, no, it should not be about who makes the most money. It's about growth. She may make more money at some point. You may make more money. But the whole idea should be is that I want to see you reach your full potential.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see you, reach for the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm pushing you.
Exactly.
So, I don't
Exactly.
know. That's what I think.
That's so awesome. Well, on that note, thank you so much for being here, Courtney. This was awesome. This was so great.
My pleasure.
So that concludes today's episode of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. Now, as usual, please keep those questions coming. You can comment below, or you can follow me on Instagram. Again, I'm at Ayomagic, and that's spelled AYOMAJEK. Now, please tune in to next week's episode, where the topic will be, should us women pursue men? You did not want to miss that episode. So thanks again for tuning in, and see you next time.